So hello guys, Somab this side from Volted PC, and today we have another interesting PC build. So we'll be seeing what components we are using in this build, from processor to cabinet. Let's talk about the budget first. So the whole PC build cost around 90,000, and yes, this PC is meant for gaming as well as streaming. If you are into productivity, you can also use it for Adobe softwares as well. So let's start with the first component, and the processor which we are using in this build is AMD Ryzen 5 5600. It's a 6-core 12-thread processor. Talking more about this processor, we get a base frequency of 3.5 GHz and a boost frequency of 4.4 GHz. Let's talk about the cache memory of this processor. This processor comes with a 32 MB L3 cache memory, and it has a TDP of 65 watts. And this processor is based on 7nm Zen 3 architecture. So guys, the next component is a motherboard, and the motherboard which we are using is Gigabyte B550M DS3H AC. AC means this motherboard comes with a Bluetooth as well as Wi-Fi inbuilt to the motherboard. Guys, talking more about this motherboard, we get a 5+3 phase VRM design, and this motherboard supports gigabit LAN. It also has 4 RAM slots which can be expandable up to 128 GB and support for 2 M.2 NVMe SSDs. So the CPU cooler which we are using in this build is Deepcool GMX 400 V2 Blue. And talking about this cooler, we have a 120mm fan which spins for around 1650 RPM and is more than sufficient to cool a processor like 5600. So guys, the next component is a RAM sticks, and the RAM sticks which we are using in this build is T-Force Vulcan Z. And talking about this RAM stick, we have a dual channel here, 8GB into 2 with a frequency of 3200 MHz. So guys, the most awaited component of the build, the graphic card, and the graphic card which we are using in this build is AMD Radeon RX 6800. It's a 16GB GDDR6 graphic card based on RDNA 2 architecture. We can game on 4K Ultra HD with this graphic card. And the graphic card which we have is from PowerColor. We get a huge heatsink which will eventually dissipate the heat effectively. If you are into 4K video editing and 3D rendering, 6800 would be a perfect fit. So guys, for primary storage, we have this NVMe SSD from Kingston. We are using a Kingston NV2 NVMe SSD which is based on PCI Gen 4, which has a read and write speed of 3500 Mbps. Talking about the storage capacity of this particular SSD, it's 500 GB. So guys, the power supply which we are using in this build is from Deepcool. We are using a Deepcool PK650D 80+ bronze power supply. And talking about this power supply, it's a 650 watt 80+ bronze certified non-modular PSU. So guys, this is the cabinet which we'll be using in this build. And talking about this cabinet, it's a Galax Revolution 01. As you all know, this cabinet comes with 3 ARGB fans pre-installed in the front and 1 ARGB fan pre-installed on the back side of the cabinet. We also get a mesh panel in the front which will be good in terms of airflow. And talking more about this cabinet, we get a magnetic tempered glass panel on the side. Talking about the radiator compatibility on this cabinet, we get a support for 360mm radiator on the front and 280mm on the top. Also, the fans which we are getting in this cabinet are ARGB, which means addressable RGB. That means you can control the lighting of the fans via your motherboard proprietary software. So guys, these are the components which we'll be using in this build, and let's start with the PC build process. So guys, as you can see, the build is ready and we have set all the fans to blue color just to match with the cooler. We get 3 ARGB fans in this cabinet which are for intake, 1 ARGB fan for exhaust, and talking about the cooler, we have a 120 air cooler which is more than sufficient to cool this processor. Talking about the looks as well as airflow of this cabinet, both are really good. If you are planning for a PC build, you can definitely consider this cabinet. So guys, that's all for this video. Hope you like this PC build, and if you're also planning for a similar build, you can visit our website www.voltedpc.in, and you can also contact on the numbers mentioned below. That's all for this video. Make sure to like, share and subscribe. Till then, keep gaming.
Mindless.